Hello and welcome back to Scouting Grounds for the Smite Draft League. We've got Divine Division action for you today. My name's Anthony Malum. I've got the former champion Powa with me. On your left-hand side, we've got Short Circuit. On your right-hand side, we've got the Lost Boys. Let's get into it. All right, Power, so what are you seeing so far from these bands?
Pretty standard bans. A lot of focus on the jungle because jungle's just super overtuned right now. And Soul, who's another, she's probably the best ADC in the game. One of the best characters in the game. Can flex mid and ADC. Just gets massive pressure.
That's not surprising. First insta-lock.
First pick Maui. We've seen what that guy can do. He single-handedly won Worlds. Got Genetics the MVP card. And KoalaMang, a great lane bully, has an incredible team fight. Really strong solo laner. I think he might be the best solo laner in the game right now, for my money.
I'm kind of surprised that we got to see a Hercules ban. It's definitely going to leave open another potential mage ADC, but looks like they won't take advantage of that after all.
No, I think
That's interesting.
Jingchen and Baba, I think, are two really strong pickups. Baba brings a lot of dynamics. She brings a lot of damage to the mid lane, and Trollacademy loves Baba Yaga. It's one of his favorite picks. So really glad to see him pulling that out.
And the Khepri getting locked in next. They did get rid of the Thanatos, but Achilles is still open. So I wonder if we'll see an Achilles get picked up, but they already have a Jingten and a Maui, so I guess they're not going that route. I mean, it could always go jungle, but at that point, you're really risking losing a lot of damage. What would you like to see come out for potentially an ADC role on these two teams?
I'd definitely like to see it Olorun come out. I think Olorun is really strong, and then if no Olorun, just pick Ishtar, and there's the Ishtar.
And I bet we see an Olorun next just to go alongside it. Mercury currently being hovered by BurpleNurple, who had a fantastic Season 1 pretty consistently, so getting a pick like Mercury could be pretty scary.
Yeah, a great hyper carry pick. Really incredible, especially for scouting grounds where you're trying to just look as great as possible, putting out massive damage numbers, putting up a lot of kills. I think Mercury's really great, and he actually has a really good early game now, especially with the wing shard. He just does a ton of damage. He basically gets hastened at level 2. So it's really he's definitely a top jungler in my opinion.
Yeah, if you can get rid of that rough early game that Mercury has, you can pretty much solve all the problems with him and have a nasty character. We also see a Rama being hovered, which has been kind of like an Ishtar, has been the go-to if you are trying to counter a mage ADC. But what's interesting is that Olorun's still open. I almost wonder if we could see it still, but with Rama and Ishtar, it's less likely, but it's possible. I mean, Olorun could go ADC and Ishtar could go mid.
It is possible, but I really think if I was FuegoMyEggo, I'd be spamming my team to pick Merlin or Tiamat because they're both up and they are really strong mages.
Merlin could go really well into KoalaMang too, because you have such a strong, powerful front line just letting you kind of free cast.
Yeah, you throw your 1 and your 2 on a Coca-Cola knockup and they're basically dead. There's not much Susanoo needs to do after that to win the game.
I also tend to really enjoy Sasano being matched with Khepri. I think Khepri kind of can forgive Sasano's aggressiveness, which tends to be one of the only problems with playing the character, is a lot of times people find themselves just going a bit too crazy, a bit too deep while playing Sasano. So hopefully the Khepri will make a difference. A Poseidon lock-in. Take me through that pick. Not surprising, but definitely not what we expected.
Poseidon brings a lot of pressure, a lot of objective pressure too. And as soon as Mercury ults you, you can just drop your Whirlpool and Kraken on him and walk out. You might even kill him. There's just a lot of burst damage, and people don't really expect it.
And with that, I think we've rounded up everything pretty well that we expect to see, and we get to talk about it more in game number 1, so we'll see you there in just a moment. We'll be right back.
taking shots at the enemy. I'm gonna make it to the top, leave a legacy. If I got something to say, you better let me speak. Turn it up a new degree, bitch, you ain't seen anything. I pop off with the new rock, electronic.
Hello, we're back already. Fighting out of the blue corner, we got Short Circuit. Red corner, Lost Boys. I'm Anthony Malum. Pow is with me. Let's do it.
I'm excited. I'm ready to watch.
All right, so take me through. We talked about the ADC matchup a little bit, and I think we were both surprised to not see Olaron, but Rama isn't the worst pick into Ishtar. Take me through that matchup a little bit.
Yeah, Rama is generally either Rama or Cernnos are generally the picks into Ishtar because they can match her wave pressure. And so that's who you usually see if Ishtar, if you're giving up Ishtar. And Crisp is really comfortable on Rama. It's his favorite character. So I think it's a really good pick, even though Olaron was available.
Blink in from MalwareCookies, and it's going to be a close attempt at the gank, but there just wasn't enough damage there quite yet. But it does look like Mercury might be peeking towards the duo lane in response to the solo gank. So we'll see how far up Giants and Koala push. Looks like they might get baited in. And Burple's taking a really deep approach. This could be the perfect gank setup. We'll see how Oswald sets up for this. There's the up down. Giants has already dashed in. Blink from the Mercury, and Burple's going to find himself a first blood. Just a matter of who gets it, and Burple gets it for Short Circuit. What a nicely executed gank.
Yeah, really. And once Mercury gets a bunch of kills, he's going to get more kills. He doesn't slow down with time. He only scales upwards. So it's really good that he picked up the last hit.
I really liked how Burple responded too, because he knew that MalwareCookies had been in solo lane, had expended a lot, and didn't get the kill. So instantly we saw Mercury walking over towards duo, and being able to respond like that is so important in this current meta with how the jungle's laid out.
Yeah, camping side lanes it's the meta. That's what you do. And counter rotations are really strong, but if you're on the opposite side of the map, ganking the other lane is just as strong. Really, it is a gank central a meta right now. You know, junglers are just supposed to get in there. It's not really a farm till 20.
Talk me through this mid lane matchup a little bit after we see OpticBlaster fall down to MalwareCookies. Gets the final hit. Thought Benz might get it on the slam, but Malware cleans it up. Take me through this mid lane matchup. Baba Yaga versus Poseidon feels like a matchup of old and not so much of this current meta. Despite both of them being good, it's just rare to see them against each other with all the other highly valued picks.
Well, Poseidon definitely wins the 1v1, as he does against most mages. But for clear, I'd say it's generally pretty even. Baba Yaga insta-clears wave, and Poseidon also insta-clears wave. So, it's but I think Poseidon definitely gets the edge on the 1v1. MalwareCookies goes in 1v2.
Yeah, ignoring the 1v1 please. Got some good damage off, but now is out of cooldowns, and BurpleNurple is going to make it close, and BurpleNurple has a second kill on Mercury. Not what you want to see if you are a Short Circuit stan, but another great response rotation from BurpleNurple. It was looking for Poseidon, but sticking around long enough for MalwareCookies. It was a nice attempt by Malware, but ultimately just ran out of cooldowns. Giants falling a bit low in the duo lane, but looks to have the spacing to get away, provided he doesn't go in.
Yeah, Crisp and Oswald are winning pressure in the lane, which is why you would pick Rama into Ishtar. He's one of the only gods that can do that.
And Maui is surprisingly good with handling Khepri. It seems like the answer for Khepri that people tend to forget. He executes the obvious one for the ultimate, but for that laning phase, being able to face tank Khepri in that early pressure, not be scared of the pluck, not be worried about getting rooted in the wave, that can really make a big difference in that laning phase. So far going into the game, we're only 4 minutes in, but it feels like there's a big disparity of pressure on the map. Now MalwareCookies gonna look to change a huge ultimate supersonic from BurpleNurple. Trollacadimy does find the kill onto FuegoMyEggo though. MalwareCookies gonna fall. Rama gets a kill in duo. Oswald falls to Koala. Somebody stop fighting. Put the gloves down for 2 seconds. But it looks like Short Circuit got the better of the fights across the map, and BurpleNurple's not done. Heading over for a gank onto Koala. Chris pushed up too. Beads comes out from Koala. Nice dash. Ultimate gonna follow. Here comes the snipes. They just need a hit, and they do. Chris kills Koala, and the fighting's finally done. It's hard to recap that many fights, but give me your best shot, Power.
Well, Mercury, first off, MalwareCookies comes in the middle, looks for the pluck on into the Kraken by through the Baba Yaga. And then he gets ulted by the Mercury, and the Mercury just Mercury and Baba just turn and do massive damage onto the Susanoo and the Poseidon, kill both of them, and then Oswald, I think, dies on the left, and then Giants dies, and then Mercury, during that fight, comes over to the left, ganks Ishtar, and Rama ults and hits all the snipes onto the Ishtar, resulting in the kill.
It's crazy to me that Burple was able to be present in the mid lane fight and the duo fight and get kills from both. Does run into MalwareCookies, goes under the tower, playing aggressive, but just not tanking it to survive. And now Malware might be in a rough spot if Oswald could sniff him out. Doesn't look like it's going to happen with Mercury by, though, so Malware should be fine with all the movement. Although using some of the movement onto Oswald, now getting stuck in with the hook. Giants is here to try to create some separation. Landfall pulls Malware back in. There's the Khepri ult, but it came a bit early. So now Trollacadimy and Oswald show their patience, but the blink comes out, and MalwareCookies gets away. I kind of can't believe Malware gets to live there.
Yeah, the Khepri ult buys just enough time for MalwareCookies' blink to come off of the 3-second timer and just escape.
Kraken comes out off the mark, though, on BurpleNurple. Trollacademy picks up Fuego, and now Giants is in the middle of 4 members. Certainly the end for Khepri here, as it's a killing spree for BurpleNurple, and a nice instant call to Gold Fury.
Yeah, they can burn this. They have Mercury. That's one of the benefits of an auto-attack jungle. I think it's really strong.
And I think making that call was big. That's one thing so far, the scouting grounds, I think we've put a lot of emphasis on is, while the goal is individual performance, it's huge for these captains to see how the shot calling is going for each team and trying to find out who's making those calls. Because for a lot of them, Ztan comes to mind. The calls have been fantastic and have made the difference in the games, despite, like you said, everyone's focusing on just trying to look good.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know exactly who made that call, but whoever made it is definitely a valuable asset to have on any team.
Looking at builds so far, there's nothing that strikes me as too crazy. The only thing that I'm kind of surprised about, might have to hold my thought, because Supersonic flying in as BurpleNurple looking for Fuego. Giants playing nice defense for the time being, but now Fuego is separated from the Khepri and Trollacademy picks up the kill. Giants now in between 3 members. It's a tale as old as time in this game, and BurpleNurple picks up the kill onto Giants. Tough break for the former caster, but really the goal there was trying to protect Fuego, and did well until they separated, so not much else you can do on a Khepri.
Yeah, Mercury just brings so much lockdown and so much threat. I mean, you saw the Poseidon was at his tower line, and he still got ulted by the Mercury, and it still resulted in a kill. It's just, those global rotations are really strong, especially in a map as big as this.
Crisp, gonna have to use that Rama ultimate just a little bit later next time. Use it to try to secure the 1v1 on Koala, and MalwareCookies was in the wings, waiting, finds the kill on the ADC. Does look like Malware is going to find Oswald, but I doubt there's a kill here. What I wanted to talk about before was we're seeing Oswald go Emperor's Armor first before Gauntlet of Thebes, no Prophetic Cloak. Not very common as a first item pickup.
Yeah, he's just not frightened of the Poseidon at all. He really wants to be in diving towers into an Ishtar Susanoo. That's who he really thinks is going to be threatening him. So he rushed Emperor so that he could dive tower and he wouldn't take damage from the Susanoo and Ishtar. As you saw, he fought both the Susanoo and the Ishtar at the same time and walked out taking almost no damage.
Yeah, completely unfazed. Almost managed to kill Malware. I didn't address it because I didn't think it was possible, and then it almost happened after the landfall. So, I mean, like you said, the item turns out to have been perfect, and I guess getting Gauntlet late isn't going to be a punishment because they have lane pressure everywhere, so the stacks are going to come online quickly.
Yep.
All right, so taking another look at mid lane. The action in mid lane has kind of been the highlight so far of the show. It's getting close in duo lane, but it looks like Koala is plenty safe. I have to assume that Lost Boys are starting to try to wrap their heads around how they can calm down BurpleNurple. If you are on Lost Boys right now, what are your calls? What are you trying to do to calm things down?
I think the best thing they can do is to get to late game and group up, because Mercury really will not have a very strong engage into a Poseidon Kraken Ishtar ult with the cripple, because Ishtar ult does cripple. The Susanoo knockup and the KoalaMang knockup, if they get to late game, the Mercury is going to have a really tough time engaging in these team fights.
Burple and Malware find each other at the Gold Fury, and it's a fight in the circle, and Malware gets the better of Burple using the Tornado. Crisp walked over, but just not in time. Same thing could be said for the support in the mid. Just no time to rotate to that fight to help out their jungle. Tough break for Burple, but, I mean, at least it's the first death for him. Should be nothing to put him too far behind. On the other end, though, Malware gets some well-deserved and much-needed gold.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been ganking lanes constantly, and it just always looks like it comes up with nothing.
That's kind of the scary part about both of these characters. I mean, you know that Susano and Burple have they've got the ability to be in each fight. Looks like I'm gonna have to hang on that thought. We do have a pause coming out, so we'll be right back on the Smite Draft League. Do not go anywhere. And we're back. Hope you weren't missing us too much. So going back to what we were talking about, we were really talking about the mobility and kind of the constant fear you have to have of both of these junglers. And Susano versus Mercury kind of feels like an even match competition. Malware looking for the gank on Crisp. Koala at the back. Blink. Pull does not bring in Crisp. There's a tornado. Rama ultimate comes out. Will Astral Barrage be enough to survive? Dash gonna follow right after. Dash was not up.
There's 3 people rotating, and they're gonna find the kill. Both these people are super out of position.
Burple's here just in time. Great callouts from Power lead to a death of Malware and the ADC. That was huge. I mean, we talked about it. You talked about it a bunch with this Mercury and the rotations around the map, how coming from one side together makes a difference, and they just proved it right there.
Yeah, and that's one of the really valuable things about Rama's ult is that he can do that. He can stall for so long that people can make rotations all the way from the mid lane to the duo lane. So even though Crisp died, it resulted in 2 kills, and there's no Ishtar can't get a lead off of that because they're dead.
Yeah, it was a really well-timed ultimate, and that feels like one of those fights that feels small on paper. You know, wasn't many deaths, not a lot of gold attached to it. But the setup that it creates for the map, I mean, we see Burple wandering around looking for Koala potentially. It could set up a lot for Short Circuit here in the next 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, almost certainly they're going to be looking at this Gold Fury real soon.
Charts are starting to tell quite a tale. Up, down from Oswald. Susano goes through it on the teleport, but with that Emperor's Armor online, there is no fear in the eyes of Oswald right now. Crisp and Burple were looking behind Tier 1 tower on Koala. So surely they must be setting up for a Gold Fury here with all this pressure they've got accumulated on the left-hand side. Solo laner's not looking to rotate anytime soon, though, so they do end up separating. I'm kind of surprised about that. You'd think with securing the pressure behind the tower like that, they'd look for more.
Yeah, they could have.
Malware almost caught out by Oswald, but looking a little low on mana if you're Maui, so probably best to just buy some time, clear some buffs. They've been fighting a while, and Maui hasn't backed in a while. We can see that there's still no gauntlet online or whatever else they may be going, so probably his time to back, get the second relic, get some gold online.
Yeah, and once he's done with that, he's going to be absolutely massive. He is the same level as the 5-in-1 jungler who's been popping off and carrying the game. It's just excellent farming coming out from the Maui.
Kind of shocking. I mean, when was the last time you saw support keeping up that much? I mean, ahead of the mid on the other side, up to par with the ADC, only really behind the solo. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely an uncommon sight. It's really a skillful player that can do that.
And it's only gonna pay off more because if you can keep, one of the reasons it isn't a problem in this game for supports to always be behind is their stats are so crazy that they can do that and they can still matter. If you can keep a support on par, maybe even get ahead, it's scary. MalwareCookies runs into Purple again, trying to reinitiate the 1v1, but now might be caught out with Trollacademy and Oswald being there. Still going to commit for the kill. Blinks into Purple under tower. Does secure the kill. What's the cost?
Nothing.
Actually could get away. The tower didn't do enough. It's going to be able to back. Trollacademy's on the hunt, though. Just has to turn left. He doesn't turn left. They go straight for Fuego. They do find a kill on the Poseidon. But the great escape for Sasano. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, that was an incredible play. And Malware is sitting at the top of the damage chart, so he's been getting really active in this game. And even though he still has 5 kills, even if it looks like he hasn't been as impactful as Burple, he's been really doing a lot for his team.
It does feel like Burple has... It's ironic. It almost feels like since the Mercury bought Rage, he's slowed down, which is the exact opposite of what you want. Here comes a washing machine, as Jeffrey likes to call it. Does not seem to do too much, but they're still looking for the fight. Maybe looking for some damage on the Giants, but it's not quite there. We did see a 1v1 in duo, and Chris got very low and is hanging out below the tower, and Burple's lurking. We know he's not afraid to dive tower, but Burple's around the corner looking for Malware. Beads comes out, Tornado follows. Astral Barrage comes up, but that means that Rama stayed. Malware under the tower, they'll get it caught. Supersonic! Burple secures the kill on Sasano. Great response rotation there. Oswald finds Giants, who's kind of moseying on through to set up for Koala. Frenzy popped in response. We'll have to see if they have anything here. Koala doesn't quite have the damage to get the kill, and Giants is falling low. They're probably going to have to back up. Good attempt by Giants, but it just wasn't quite there.
I think Chris played that fight really great. He ulted, hit all 3 shots onto Malware, which resulted in his death. I don't think if he missed one, then Malware would have died there. And he forces the shell out of the Khepri. He just played that incredible.
And now they don't have the shell for this fight. They do get away regardless. BurpleNurple looking for more rage stacks, stops by the mid lane and secures it by dropping FuegoMyEggo.
Yeah, and it looks like FuegoMyEggo even used the Kraken in that fight. It's just not much you can do when a 7-2 3-level lead Mercury ults on you. He's just kind of dead there.
Tornado just off the mark, looking for the steal. Malware, though, seeing if there's anything that they can find, only had Oswald, and now might be caught out between Crisp and Troll, but the blink online just in time for Sasano to survive.
Yeah, again, having to use that blink defensively. It never feels good as a jungler, but it feels better than dying, so...
Malware looking for a revenge kill on Chris for what happened before. Aegis comes out, does not block the dash, and Malware cleans up the kill. And ooh, might find Burple too? I don't think so. Close, though.
You can't see him. Just the jungle fog coming in clutch for Burple.
Yeah, definitely saved him there. But Malware gets found by Oswald, and Trollacademy's waiting. Will the movement be enough? Now Sasano's in a tough spot. Blink is not up. We know that from before. But juking everything. Even if Malware falls, the mental state is ruined. House might not be enough. Malware still going. Fastest man alive is actually MalwareCookies. Finally falls. It's a rampage for Trollacademy, but the mentals have to be taking a hit after MalwareCookies almost got away for the second time.
He just shattered their ankles, man, for like 30 seconds straight. They couldn't catch him.
There was no right for Malware to be alive there. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, and he got the Baba Yaga ult.
Pyromancer falls a short circuit. Looking at gold charts here, it's weird. I feel like the gold charts and the feel of this game are two completely different things.
Yeah, it really does feel like Lost Boys are still competing in this game. But, you know, the gold chart just looks totally different. It's just this complete landslide up north for Short Circuit.
I guess that just comes from the kind of the snowball of it's probably a lot going to Burple. We talked about Oswald keeping on par, if not ahead. 2 Gold Furies, a Pyromancer, but then when we get into fights, it feels like Lost Boys is competitive in every single engagement.
I think that just comes down to the draft. Their draft is incredible at team fights, and maybe it's not so good in lane. Especially not when there's a gigantic Mercury running around just menacing everyone.
Yeah. As soon as Mercury gets an early rage online, as long as it happens pre 20 minutes, it's a terrifying sight. Going that Titan's Bane after as well. So far, other than that, builds are looking pretty similar. If I had to point out one thing I'm not fond of, and honestly, I'm finding myself to just dislike this item in general because of the playstyle it's encouraging. We see Giants went Prophetic Cloak on Khepri.
I don't think it's the worst item. It does proc on Khepri's Pluck, so long as you're looking aggressive, you can get that pretty often.
Yeah, that's a good point. You can also get it on Solar Flare pretty easily. Gank heading out in duo. Burple's going to cut off on one end with Crisp pushing Koala up. Ishtar ultimate comes out. Tornado in response. This fight could turn, but big two-man supersonic. Malware gets hit by 2 of the 3 snipes. Falling low, this fight could turn either direction. Malware with the jukes again. Koala looking for Burple. Who's going to be the one to take the victory? Chris gets one. Koala gets the other. They turn to each other, and Koala finds it. Trollacadimy in the back gets a kill on Fuego. But the performance there from Koala cannot be underappreciated. Washing Machine. Beads was still up after that fight, so they can't secure it yet, but big damage comes out from Trollacademy, and Optic Blaster cleans up the kill. Now Giants finds himself stuck between 3 members. Up, down, should not be long now until Khepri falls. Just a matter of how long can Giants make them wait.
It's making them wait pretty long. They're expending a lot of abilities in order to kill him, but eventually he will go down. As Gold Fury is coming up, I wonder if they're going to look at it. Both of their auto attackers are dead, so it would take them a very long time, especially with it being Primal Fury. So they are looking at it.
Yeah, Bensworthy was in mid, but looks like he's taking the trek back to solo. So it's not going to get sniffed out. This actually could be free. Yeah, it's free.
Yeah, it does look like they're going to drop that for free, especially with both of their auto attackers respawning and coming in time.
I'm almost surprised that Lost Boys didn't come out of base and beeline it for the Fury and try to contest it, but maybe they're just, at this point, after the last couple of fights, they're deeming it more worth it to secure their own jungle.
Yeah, I think that's the right call. When your Poseidon is this far down in levels, he really needs his farm. The only person who's really keeping up is the jungle and the solo lane. Everyone else is falling a bit behind. Actually, Koala is ahead. I stand corrected.
Blink in. We got a big fight breaking out by the blue buff on Chaos side. MalwareCookies trying to stay safe under the tower. House. Chasing him down and doing damage. He does avoid some good damage, though. Again. Will this be another case of Malware getting away? It is.
He's the slipperiest man I've ever seen in my life. He should be like 6-12 at this point, but he just keeps outplaying everybody, shattering their ankles. I mean, they don't even have feet at this point. This guy's just a menace.
They don't have feet, so they can't step away from the Kraken, but Burple secures that problem and gets rid of the Poseidon ASAP. Now trying to get away from Bensworthy and Giants with Optic Blaster chasing behind, trying to get away to their support. Oswald's on the way, and it looks like that's enough to deter the fight, but Bensworthy now goes in as Burple has gone back in with support. Malware blinks in, instantly cut off with the up-down from Oswald.
Man, Burple's just a man without fear. It's just throwing him out. And I love how he's playing this game. I mean, he's been camping this Poseidon really hard because of how strong Poseidon is. Poseidon's a lane bully, and the Kraken is just an incredible ability in team fights and in just soloing your lane opponent. So he really put that Poseidon behind. It allowed for Trollacademy to get absolutely gigantic. Trollacademy sitting at 7-1, has the most player damage in the whole game. I mean, he's really been running a train on Lost Boys. I mean, he's just been destroying them.
What I'm finding so fascinating about this game so far, in this set in particular, is so far in Scouting Grounds, there's been strong performances everywhere that we talk about, but this is one of the first sets where it feels like every player, regardless of stat line, is playing way above their weight. I mean, you could look at MalwareCookies at 6-6 and say, he's playing aggressive and he dies for a kill, but that is not the actual reality. We've seen him get away from everything. Same thing can be said for Giants, realistically. 0-5 doesn't look great on paper, but when you look at what he's done to try to keep his teammates alive, it's exactly what you want out of a support. I think it's fascinating that they're all pulling this off.
Yeah, I think everyone's having a great performance in this game. Especially BurpleNurple, who just has no fear. He's just running at the solo laner. He's huge.
And half helps him at that. And now Giants was trying to get over there to help Bensworthy, but that now is caught in a tough spot, already below half health. They are split, though. Half were chasing Bensworthy, the other looking at Giants. Giants manages to avoid a couple abilities. It's going to take a house to kill him. and Burple gets a crit to pick up the final hit. But again, we see a lot expended just to clean up the Khepri, and Fire Giant's being pulled, but now they're down an ultimate for it.
Yeah, I mean, Giants played that really well. He was breaking their ankles.
Oh, the tornado over the wall stole the Fire Giant. MalwareCookies is not done breaking hearts.
He's been, oh, a great ult by Burple. He should find the kill here. He backs off.
Stun on the back.
The Aussie proc.
Crazy response from Koala staying alive there thanks to Aussie. Trollacademy couldn't find it either. Lost Boys are just matching Short Circuit at every turn. Gold lead be damned.
Yeah, Koala has no fear. He just turned around, he beads, he ults, he forces Burple's beads, and Burple has to run away.
That Fire Giant steal could be a turning point in this game. I mean, we've been talking about it. The feel has been totally different from the charts, and now the charts are starting to even up, with the only exception being kills. Everything else, I mean, gold dropping below 4,000 after that Fire Giant. Experience almost even. Lost Boys are completely back in this game.
Yeah, just a minute ago, I was talking about how Burple's done such an excellent job of keeping the Poseidon out of this game, but Poseidon's only a level down now. He's practically even. I mean, he's a threat. He's a real threat on the map, and he's made it there. Although Trollacademy's trying to steal it. He doesn't get away with it.
That was close. I thought for a second he might. It's gonna come down to seeing how far Bensworthy will chase this. Giants is cut off by Oswald from trying to assist, but Malware has the mobility to catch up, and Trollacademy falls. Giant's still safe as well, so it proved to be effective. We do have a split push going on in solo lane from Mercury, and that's going to clean up a tier 2 tower. But what will that lead to for his team over in the duo lane? Crisp falling so quickly. Will have to Astral Barrage to survive. Hasn't come yet. Was not up. Crisp falls down to MalwareCookies. Landfall pulls in 2. Oswald impressing again. Giants falls down. Revival's Blessing gets him under the tower. Tier 2 tower falls in response, but check out the solo lane. Mercury picks up a Phoenix. MalwareCookies has a double kill. This is a heavyweight fight.
They could end. No, they can't end. Maybe they might. I don't think they can.
Mercury
Especially
back,
with Burple
supersonic
coming back.
charge.
Oh.
Gonna find MalwareCookies, and the crits will clean it up. Gonna look for more. Has a pretty nice opening here. Does back up. Could have gotten CC'd without any support there. Has to play this safe. I think maybe he could have picked up Koala, but he probably would have died trying, so probably best to back off there.
Yeah, just a little miscommunication. If Kakulin has ult there, he dies 100%, and it might have been that they didn't know if his ult was up or not. Great blink, block. That's just an insta-kill.
Gonna fight with Bensworthy, too. I almost said might not have the damage, but I should really check myself when talking about a Mercury.
Yeah, and he has Titan's Bane, so he's really looking at tanks.
This game's completely even. We've got matching Phoenixes down. I think the only slight advantage in terms of Phoenixes might have to go to Lost Boys, because Short Circuit's Phoenix that dropped is on the other side of the map. So for this next Fire Giant, they're going to take a bit of a risk trying to contest.
Yeah, not having Crisp there is gonna be a real pain.
Pyromancer falls too. Yeah, Crisp is kind of I mean, pushing here is obviously the right choice, especially before anything spawns, any fights happen. But once the Fire Giant fight starts, you're gonna have fire minions pouring in, and it's gonna be so easy for Lost Boys to just kind of hook around the side and get rid of any wave. This has the makings of a really drawn out and close game.
It certainly does. Malware's been popping off. Both the junglers. This has really been a battle of the junglers. I mean, Malware is doing so much for his team. He has set up every win they have gotten on the map has come from Malware.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the story as we go as we get into the late portion of this game. Fire Giant just now spawning up. Dance hasn't fully started. I do like that MalwareCookies has picked up a Magi's Blessing. That just having that bit of survivability here against Short Circuit could be enough to keep Sasano in the fight, and as you mentioned, that's been the difference so far. Malware setting up around the side. Fire Giant Dance is in full swing. Everyone's here minus Fuego, so we'll see if Short Circuit can sniff that out and push the advantage. Oswald walking through Fire Giant, trying to do some peeling. Peel off the layers, break down the skin. BurpleNurple's found FuegoMyEggo. Kraken will come out and delete him! He didn't fall! Kraken deletes him instead! Fire Giant getting pulled, but Mercury's dead. Just instantaneously, the damage wasn't enough to survive the Kraken. Tornado picks up Crisp. Crisp down to half. Landfall will cut off Sasano from his team. Doesn't matter regardless. As Crisp falls, Trollacademy return kill onto MalwareCookies. House, washing machine. We've got an entire appliance store in the solo lane. Giants taking a lot of damage, but has cut off everybody from his team. The Peel champion, former caster. Underneath tier 2 tower, doesn't phase anybody. Trollacademy gonna look for a kill on Bensworthy. Oswald kills Giants. Koala falling low, doesn't have the Aussie passive quite up. Pre-beads for Oswald. Fuego's here. Koala cleans up the kill. Tier 1 tower falls. Optic Blaster gets away. Wow.
Man, Koala and Fuego just went massive in that fight. And what I was saying when they picked the Poseidon was that I thought he was really good into Mercury because Mercury ults him, Poseidon just ults himself, insta-kills the Mercury like we just saw, and it totally won them the fight. After Koala just basically 1v4'd by himself, just slamming damage with his pen crit build. I really like Koala's build, and I really like how Koala played that fight, using the Aussie proc. Even at one point, Giants died under tower, and the tower flipped to Koala, and Koala Aegises the tower and manages to get out. Koala really, perfect relic usage and perfect autos. He really impressive.
Yeah, the mechanics from Koala have been probably the biggest showcase so far from Ishtar. From everybody, but the small things from Koala have been huge. Pre-beadsing is something that is kind of undervalued in Smite, and that's a lot of times what you can look at to really find the difference between a higher level player and a lower level player is if they pre-bead something or if they wait and beads reactively.
Yeah, relic usage is a really big difference because, if you die in a team fight, if you get picked out, you might just lose the game off of that completely. So being able to find any way to survive is a really strong benefit.
BurpleNurple has the back because they missed one fire wave. It looks like he'll get there in time, but that's gonna be a problem. Fire Giant already getting pulled. BurpleNurple is gonna have a tough time getting there in time. MalwareCookies blinks in the back. Bensworthy gets Kepri ulted, so they can't find him. Landfall has cut off one of the routes MalwareCookies can take, and now he's stuck. Has to turn around and fight it anyway. Lost Boys gets a Fire Giant. MalwareCookies gets chased by 3. Crisp gonna look for the kill, but can't find the damage. Not enough spacing. Oswald, though, got left alone, and Supersonic is here! BurpleNurple cannot be forgotten about, as he's already dropped Koala. Looking for more. Optic Blaster gets a killing spree after picking up Fuego. BurpleNurple's got a double kill. Gonna look for more on MalwareCookies. Just needs one basic to do it. It's a triple kill for the Mercury. Fire Giant no longer matters. Phoenix is saved, and Short Circuit takes the advantage.
Yeah, Burple just turned that entire fight on its heels, finding a massive double ult onto the backliners, insta-killing the Ishtar, setting up for the Poseidon to die very soon after. He really just turned that entire fight on its head.
And that whole fight is different because he backed for the fire minions, which is gigantic. Bensworthy doing some damage, but not enough to save this Phoenix. It will fall. I'd be surprised if Benz can pick up the kill onto Burple, and does not look like that will be the case. Free Phoenix for the boys in blue. Gonna look for mid next, most likely.
No, it looks like they're backing off. I think they're gonna go to Pyromancer, just back and reset.
Yeah, doesn't look like that's gonna be the case. So, going forward here, we're in deep. Lost Boys did exactly what you said they needed to do when I asked you around 12 minutes. Now we're at a borderline stalemate. Current advantage is towards Short Circuit. What do you do if you're either team right now to make the difference here?
If you're Lost Boys, I think you just need to really focus on landing your giant ults. Susanoo missed his ult in that last fight, didn't hit anybody. Poseidon didn't hit anybody with his ult. At least I think he didn't hit anyone. But I think they just need to hit their ults and they'll win the fights. If you're Short Circuit, Burple needs to keep finding perfect engages into the back line like he's been doing all game long. Optic needs to go in with him. As you see, like when Optic knocked up Malware and set up for the triple kill, I think so long as Burple is diving with Optic, they'll win the game. Burple is just, he's on a rampage right now. He's killing everybody he sees.
And what will he pick up this time? Oni Fury getting pulled, gets let go. Lost Boys might be looking to just bait out a fight. It's 5v5 at the Oni Fury. But fire minions are marching into Lost Boy's throne room. Somebody's got to back to save it, so that's going to cost them the Oni Fury.
Not a big loss. At a 33-minute Oni Fury, it's really not. It's nothing. It's not the end of the world.
For sure, worst case, this costs you your tier 2s because they'll push with the Oni waves, and it's not worth contesting. Anyway, like you said, not the end of the world. The focus needs to be on defending your Phoenixes, and we know Lost Boys has the ability to drop Short Circuit. So it's just a matter of playing and setting up correctly for your team fights. MalwareCookies going around the back, gonna find Crisp and Trollacademy. Half health's Crisp, pulls him in, Crisp is gone. Trollacademy, half health, in the house, falls to FuegoMyEggo. Washing Machine finds 2 and pulls it through the Supersonic. Fuego, though, got to live because of the Washing Machine. Landfall misses on Fuego in the back and the front. Optic Blaster being chased down by Bensworthy. Should be an easy pickup here for Malware and Benz onto the solo laner. Burple split pushing for tier 2 with the Oni wave. We just talked about that. Oni wave will secure the tier 2 with BurpleNurple, but hard to not see that as a massive victory for the Lost Boys.
That's because it was a massive victory for the Lost Boys. I think Burple really needs to be in these fights. I mean, having Fuego and Koala just free casting with no pressure was... I mean, that was something that turned the tide. I mean, Malware made an incredible engage, but I think the difference in that fight really was that their Mercury wasn't in the fight. He was split pushing.
For sure, and I think that Optic Blaster had a fantastic ultimate, but taking away that stun really was a rough combination. I'm not sure if it caused him to miss or if it just caused the stun on the count. I don't know if the damage hit. It was hard to tell, but it's hard not to see that as having put Burple in an awkward spot, because without that stun, like you said, they were able to free cast, and Burple took so much damage, he kind of had to leave. Wow!
Just half healthing the Poseidon right off the bat. Mercury is really, really, really strong right now. I can't believe he waited till like the 9th pick or something. Really incredible.
Yeah, it's weird seeing a Mercury go that late. Malware is going to pay the price of BurpleNurple's damage. Falls instantly to the damage. 15-4 now for the Short Circuit jungler. Like we said, everyone's performing out of their minds. Short Circuit's going to have to pull this Fire Giant here. They have the 5v4 advantage. And Lost Boys doesn't look too keen on contesting. They're going to let it go for free. Probably the safe choice.
Yeah, definitely the safe choice. It is Enhanced Fire Giant, so you might have to give up a couple of Phoenixes. Definitely the right Phoenix. But you can defend in the Titan room. They have an incredible team fight. Their team fight is excellent. They've shown that they can team fight incredibly in the game. And if they win a team fight, they win the game. They just run it up mid and it's over. So I don't think the EFG really means all that much.
Mid Phoenix being pushed. Emperor's Armor pulls out. Washing Machine in the back and ascend. Giants into the fray. Kraken finds 2 and deletes them both. Bensworthy gets the credit on Trollacademy. BurpleNurple's backing in between the Titan and the Phoenix. So Mercury's gone. Optic Blaster and Oswald got to split the difference. Fire minions secure right Phoenix. Mid Phoenix not going to fall, but did get low. Fantastic defense from Lost Boys. And they got the Fire Giant off of 3 members now as Optic Blaster falls. Landfall pulls in 2. Can they get rid of Fire Giant off of 4 members?
I really hope they look to MalwareCookies and they just run it up the mid lane, because he's really not that big of a threat. I can kind of understand chasing out the Jing Chen, but I'm glad they dropped the Maui and they're running it up mid.
Good call, and Oswald is just now backing, so it's going to be Burple versus the World defending this mid-tier Phoenix. I don't even think he can contest this, really.
No, he can't. He needs to defend on the Titan room or wait for Oswald to, make a god-tier play.
And it looks like that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to look for a throne room defense. Lost Boys facing down 5 members and EFG not only defends, but they get a Phoenix out of it.
Yeah, I mean, that was just an absolutely massive Kraken, and it did a ton of damage to Burple, forced him to back. Their team fight is so incredible. I think it's just a comp diff, to be honest. I mean, that team fight is just it's insane.
And if you think about it, if they had found Burple backing between Phoenix and Titan, if they had killed the Mercury, that's probably game.
Might have been, yeah.
So now we're at 38 minutes. Leads are basically gone. Fire Giant is now... It's on Burple, which is probably the only impactful member it's on, as Oswald, I mean, it doesn't make a huge difference
Hey,
while
man,
mattering.
Oswald's been going nuts this game, bro.
Oh, yeah, don't worry. I'm talking characters, not skill. Very early Khepri ultimate, but it's going to pay off because of all the damage. Doesn't stop Burple, though. Rampage for the Mercury. Goodbye, Khepri. Who's next? It might be Chris, because Koala blows him up over the wall. Oswald in mid, looking to lead the fray into that Phoenix to get rid of it, but Bensworthy sees Chris and sees red, goes in the back, knock up, secures the kill. Killing spree for the solo laner on Lost Boys. What else can they get off of it? Looking for a big turnaround in this fight is Short Circuit, trying to turn it back to the Phoenix. Koala drops to half. And this fight is surprisingly calming down. Lost Boys going to look to defend Throne Room again. They're going to give up the mid Phoenix, it seems.
Purple might die.
Purple's really low and Malware's on the hunt, but Giant hooked there from Oswald, catches Malware in his tracks, and now BurpleNurple gets away. That could have saved the game, as Trollacadimy now has to go into house to get rid of MalwareCookies. Bensworthy still on the hunt. Oswald doing everything he possibly can to get to his mid laner, as KoalaMang once again sees red and is chasing it all the way down. Troll, though, turned into Oswald. There's the landfall. Trollacademy might be safe. Oswald's doing everything possible. It's going to succeed. BurpleNurple's here now, too. And Burple's going to look to secure a kill. Has to get out, though. Cannot get to Malware. Malware pulls him in. One basic's needed, but Burple can't find it. Now they're both 1 HP, and OswaldJr gets the kill on the MalwareCookies. Oswald goes back in, finds 2. Purification bead's already used. Now Fuego gets picked up and is dropped down for Trollacademy, but Giants gets the gigantic revive and gets Poseidon back in the fight.
That probably saved the game. If Poseidon dies there, that might be it. That might Giants might have just saved the game for Lost Boys.
This game's out of control.
It is. This is an absolutely insane game. Everybody is playing incredibly.
The fact that this is a Divine Division game tells you all you need to know about the divisions in the SDL. Each one's competitive. Giants looking for the steal. Short Circuit gets the Fire Giant. But honestly, we've seen Lost Boys does not really care anymore about the Fire Giant.
No, they don't. They've fought into the Fire Giant 3 times, and 3 times they've won that fight.
Short Circuit has to come up with a different strategy this time. It's hard to imagine that strategy does not involve keeping BurpleNurple alive and in the fight as best as possible. That's where their damage is. The crits have been out of this world.
Yeah, he's sitting at the top player damage for the entire game. 44k. I mean, 44k in 41 minutes. That's more than 1,000 a minute. He's absolutely slamming on this god.
Phoenix set up by Short Circuit. Junglers meet in the middle. Supersonic on the MalwareCookies, but the tornado creates some separation and Sasano gets away. Giants goes over to try to get Fuego out, and they can't get any picks off of that, and now BurpleNurple's half health, and Koala's going around his side. Nice hit, though, from Baba Yaga, does good damage. Giants thrown in. Trollacademy cleans up Koala. 2 members take on BurpleNurple, and he falls to Fuego. Fuego's got a double kill. They're defending again. Fire Giant doesn't mean a damn thing to the Lost Boys. 3 members of Short Circuit don't seem to be enough. Fuego's right in the midst of things. Giants trying to get out his mid laner, but Chris takes him down. Malware gets the response kill. Fired minions are pouring in on a Titan, so Bensworthy's got to defend it, and Malware is stuck alone, fighting off OswaldJr and Oswald. They don't really have the damage to kill him, but I don't think Malware can take either of them out.
Man, Malware once again going absolutely huge. He gets the Mercury ult, lives, kills the Mercury, kills the Baba Yaga, and then kills the Rama. This guy is just playing out of his mind.
Finds Oswald. Tornado comes up. It's jumped by OswaldJr. Bensworthy's here now, too. Maybe there's kill potential. Oswald's going to back behind the wall. OswaldJr just looking to survive and heal up with Fire Giant. I mean, with the HP 5 on Jington and the Fire Giant, OswaldJr can kind of just take a lap around the map and heal up completely. I'm shocked at how this game's going. I genuinely cannot make a prediction who's going to win. I mean, it looks bad for Lost Boys, but you cannot siege their throne room. For whatever reason, it just cannot happen. So I don't think they care that 3 Phoenixes are down. I don't think they care that 2 members have Fire Giant. I think that Lost Boys thinks they have this win already.
They're certainly looking very confident. Malware is jumping into 3 people and living constantly. They're at the entire game for the past 40 minutes. That guy's just he hasn't died. I mean, he's died 11 times, but he hasn't died as much as he probably should have died.
Yeah, we talked about that too. On paper and eye test are 2 completely different games. If you showed these match results to somebody and said, do you think this was a stomp or a close game? They're saying stomp. But this game has been so back and forth, borderline advantage Lost Boys somehow. It's ludicrous.
It is ludicrous. This game is just absolutely insane. I mean,
Supersonic charging for mid. Gonna look to catch someone out. They don't know he's charging it up, but I don't think there's an opening. That would have been nasty, but probably would have died if he didn't stun both of them. But Malware is now separated in the solo lane, and Burple's heading over quick. Malware sniffs it out just in time, but might look to contest. If he goes into that, he might die, but he has Magi's, so he backs up. Mid Phoenix has respawned, but it's already dead.
Giants is
So
dead, too.
is Giants.
And
So
Koala.
is Koala. Double kill for Crisp, but he falls down to MalwareCookies. Supersonic as well as come out. Malware still alive, trying to stay away from Purple. The
Man,
4 members of Short Circuit are going to pour into the Titan room.
Malware does not want to lose this game, man. At every opportunity, this guy has gone absolutely huge. But
Titan half health. They're on top of it. Power. They're going to take it down unless Malware can pull something out of a hat.
He pulled
Fuego's
it.
working on it. Titan's
minions.
down to 10%, but they're still fighting. The Titan might fall. The minions. Another kill. It's too late. Lost Boys gave it every single ounce of energy they had, but they could not quite hold. Short Circuit picks up the victory, but barely.
That was a really incredibly close game. I think you ban Mercury and you'll win the next game 100% guaranteed.
I'm in shock. I genuinely was starting to think that Lost Boys couldn't lose that game. They basically defended Titan. If they just had their Phoenixes up, they would have survived, but the Phoenixes on top of the damage was just a little too much. We've got a game 2, but take me through what you saw personally from these guys and your standouts in game number 1.
I mean, obviously, both of the junglers, MalwareCookie and BurpleNurple, were really the standout stars. I think Trollacadimy had a really silently good game. I think he really performed well in the Baba Yaga, really justified the pick. Optic did a lot setting up for BurpleNurple, burned a lot of beads, allowing Burple to get the insta-kill off of the dash, off of his ult. I mean, I think Optic, Burple, Malware, Bensworthy going 4-0 and 18, doing 41,000 damage, mitigating 110,000. I mean, you can't argue with those stats. I think
The fact he didn't die in that game is unreal.
yeah, especially with the 40% physical penetration Mercury running down. You know,
Yeah, absolutely insane. And what's crazy is we could have up to 2 more games in this set. But for game number 1, that's all we've got. I'm Anthony Malum. I have had Powa with me, and we'll be right back with game number 2 between the Lost Boys and Short Circuit, which is guaranteed to be an exciting game.
taking shots at the enemy. I'm gonna make it to the top, leave a legacy. If I got something to say, you better let me speak. Turn it up a new degree, bitch, you ain't seen anything. I pop off with the new rock, electronic, blow the sonic roof up. I'm too honest when I take a few shots. They're too toxic, need to take the noose off. And you cannot save me, 'cause I don't need saving. It's everything I've been chasing, all here for the taking. Don't wanna test your luck with me, I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are half-nots. You are not as tough as I'm back, you know that I never left. I got tracks and some music that you never guessed. I don't slack, don't lose, learn your lesson yet. When I get to choose what I do, I'm like a weapon. I'm not sharp as many, but got hard. I'm ready to change scars to envy, to win large and plenty. I like to play fast, never change back. Calling out, I'll pay back, 'cause I'm great at that. Oh, you cannot save me, 'cause I don't need saving. It's everything I've been chasing, all here for the taking. Don't wanna test your luck with me, I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are half-nots. You are not as tough though. Don't wanna test your luck with me, I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are half-nots, who are not as tough as me. Don't wanna test your luck with me, I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are half-nots, who are not as tough as me.
And welcome back, Smite Draft League fans, to game number 2. For now, you got me, Cosmic Warrior, and KingFsher for the picks and bans. Anthony needed a little bit of a break after that absolute showstopper of a game 1. How are you feeling about this? That was an incredible game 1, KingFsher. What are you thinking?
I mean, definitely as far as scouting grounds go, one of the most competitive sets we've seen. I think Anthony talked about it perfectly in the end. The Lost Boys just did not want to lose, and they put up a really good fight, and they're going to start it out by banning the Mercury, thinking that was a really big problem last game.
Yeah, I mean, that was just an insane play all around at all stages of the game from Mercury. Very, very huge ults, an absolute fundamental part of their victory. So I'm not surprised to see them banning that one away.
Yeah, definitely. And followed up with the Susano as well. I mean, MalwareCookies looked really, really good on that pick. What was it, like 16 and 11, I think his KD was? I mean, I talked about that as well on the start of the game. KDs can be deceiving, but absolutely huge impact. And now a Hebo ban as well, so getting a little bit of mid action in there.
Yeah, I mean, Hebo can be playing mid, but is also super, super strong in the jungle. Speaking of good mid lane picks, we see Kronos. We've seen him absolutely rise to the top of the meta, given his recent buffs and just seeing how strong mages can be, mage ADCs, just so much burst potential out of these mages. Just no surprise to see how highly they've been valued in competitive play.
Yeah, definitely not. And I mean, game 1, I was a little bit surprised to see that we didn't have more Mage ADC bans. I think they were open for the first phase and just not many teams valuing it. But now it's a Pele top lock. MalwareCookies loves this pick, played it a lot. I don't know if that's worth a top pick, though, especially with something like Sol or Freya still on the table.
Yeah, and as we see Soul getting locked in on the other side, and as you're saying, Mage ADC is just so impactful right now. And honestly, I feel like Pele is one we haven't is maybe even a little undervalued. I don't know if that's the right thing to say. It just seemed like in season 9 she was really, really highly valued, and then coming in season 10 there wasn't anything that made her particularly bad, but it just seems like other picks have just soared ahead of her. But I do like to see the Pele. Pele is a very fun god to watch, and I think we'll see some good performances from it.
Definitely should. Maybe thinking the Pele might be banned out in a later phase. We've already seen jungles targeted a lot, so definitely not a stretch. And I love the response with the Maui and the Soul. Two picks that are absolutely top of their roles right now, and especially Oswald looked really, really good on the Maui last game. But now we might see Giants go onto the Athena support instead of Khepri. Do you like that call?
Athena Athena can be, basically she just dashes in taunts and that's all she does. Obviously, she has that global presence. I think might be able to really match the sort of aggression that the Pele brings, sort of ulting in, being able to get that Defender of Olympus bonus protections, and just having an Athena to taunt your enemies into you. Not the worst pick ever. I do think that the Maui Soul is going to be a very, very devious duo lane to have to beat into. That being said, Oleron, I think, as we've seen just get locked in, is going to be one of those gods who can definitely sort of match that presence that Soul brings in the duo lane.
Definitely. A little bit surprised that it's not going to be the Freya opting for the Oleron instead. But with that being said, Oleron, I mean, still one of the top 4 ADCs in the game right now, all the 4 mages. So definitely shouldn't go wrong there. And a Ravana now, assuming that's a jungle, that's very, very different from Mercury.
Yeah, definitely is. I think Ravana is very good right now. I mean, yes, as you said, assuming it is a jungle, it could be flexed into the solo lane, maybe going for the mitigation build that's very, very strong in Ravana, just very, very strong overall. I think Ravana's overhead kick can be key in avoiding some key abilities. Athena taunts, even helping with the Oleron ult. I don't hate the pick.
Yeah, I was about to mention into the Oleron, a very, very good god to have. A lot of CC immunity built into that kit. Same thing with Soul's Disapparate, so definitely have the potential to deal with that Oleron. Still going to be a problem, and now KoalaMang gets taken off the table, another god we saw last game, and one that's also kind of climbing the meta in the solo lane.
Absolutely, he does Bluestone very well, but he can still do a variety of builds, all that really benefit his play style. He's very, very strong in the laning phase, just due to his passive going in that berserk form. He has really, really strong wave pressure, really, really strong poke potential. Just an all around very, very strong god.
Yeah, definitely is. I mean, there's a reason we're seeing him at the top of the solo lane, and now an Agni ban as well. One of the few mids that's really risen to the top of the meta. I feel like right now, pretty much everybody you can play in the mid lane, and you don't really have many problems with it. I think it was Powa that talked about it game 1, Merlin and Tiamat. Still see neither of those banned out, and would still like to see one of those played here.
Yeah, I agree. I think Merlin has really, really excelled in this meta with the Tablet of Destinies being so strong, and just overall his high burst can absolutely one and two shot people, and from a very, very far distance in that. And Agni as well. I mean, Agni is absolutely insane. If you get stunned bomb comboed, you are just dead. It doesn't matter how many magical protections you have, it doesn't matter who you are, you're going to die very, very quickly just from that insane amount of true damage that you get.
Yeah, ton of damage coming that way, and now it's going to be a Nike lock-in. One of the first we've seen this season, I believe. I think just like mid lane, solo lane also really competitive, and we're going to see that with a Mulan pickup as well. Definitely for this season, I think a little bit unorthodox. Haven't really seen these gods featured a whole ton.
Yeah, I think we've seen one Nike game, but I don't think we've seen any Mulan game. As much as I hate to fight Mulan because she's annoying, she's really, really fun to play and definitely feels really strong right now. Can definitely use the Bluestone very well, or I tend to prefer to build Axe on her, and Sundering Axe late is very, very strong. I think it's definitely a little bit better than the Nike pick, in my opinion. I think Nike's just a little bit counterable. Her ult can be sundered away, and then she's just not doing too much. So think I'm leaning to prefer the Mulan pick over the Nike.
And one other thing that I think kind of contributes towards that Mulan factor, Mulan late game is scary. I mean, it still is, no matter what you have, what you're trying to do to counter it. There's ways to counter Nike. It's a little bit hard to maneuver around a Mulan, and especially with an I'm a Monster staring you straight in the face. The Scylla pickup, I love this pick. It's always good in the meta. And it's going to be a Giannis on the other side, so two really different looking mid laners.
Yeah, definitely, you know, Scylla, quintessential burst mage, gonna absolutely pump numbers no matter what. And Yanu's definitely different. Not one we see too often competitively. Feels like you're very limited to your positioning. That being said, if you're a well coordinated team, Janice ulting these side lanes, it can be very impactful and very good. Leash onto an early lead and just snowball that into objectives and then ultimately the game. So we're definitely going to be in for a show here, but we're going to see me, Cosmic Warrior, and Anthony Malum in game number 2. Don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back.
Taking shots at the enemy, I'm gonna make it to the top, leave a legacy. If I got something to say, you better let me speak. Turn it up a new degree, bitch, you ain't seen anything. I pop off with the new rock, electronic, blow the sonic roof up. I'm too honest when I take a few shots. They're too toxic, need to take the noose off. And you cannot save me, cause I don't need saving. It's everything I've been chasing, all here for the taking. Don't wanna test your luck with me, I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are half-nots. You are not as tough as I'm back, you know that I never left. I got tracks and some music that you never guessed. I don't slack, don't lose, learn your lesson yet. When I get to choose what I do, I'm like a weapon. I'm not sharp as many, but got heart. I'm ready to change scars to envy, to win large and plenty. I like to play fast, never change back. Calling out, I'll pay back, cause I'm great at that. Oh. You cannot save me, cause I don't need saving. It's everything I've been chasing, all here for the taking. Don't wanna test your luck with me, I think I've had enough defeat. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people.
If game number 1 left you feeling anything but like a mouse on Red Bull, you are mistaken. I'm Anthony Malum. I've got Cosmic Warrior with you. Let's get into what's sure to be an exciting game number 2 between Lost Boys and Short Circuit.
I mean, there's nothing else that can really be said other than, you know, if game 1 is anything to go off of, this is going to be a very, very entertaining watch. I am definitely looking forward to it. We got some interesting picks here, a little bit differing from game number 1, but I'm sure it'll be just as exciting.
MalwareCookies falling a bit low, but not as low as BurpleNurple, who has to back up behind the Archer minions, but that separation's enough to survive. Dual lane also low. They're fighting everywhere again. These guys did not forget what went down in game number 1. They came into this game heated, looking for more, without a doubt.
Yeah, we definitely see Maui Soul having a little bit more lane pressure, not surprising. I think Maui is a bit better than the Athena. That being said,
gotta play it safe. Does get away with the jump. Wow, that was close as you can get to a first blood. And now the damage is kind of flipping, going the way of Short Circuit. Such a close dual lane matchup. That's what being a mage ADC will do to you. Pele and Ravana are both working their way over to the dual lane. This is going to be a jungle off for this kill. Blink in from Pele onto the mage ADCs. Blink followed by BurpleNurple. First bloods for Lost Boys. Second blood. It's a double kill. Blood everywhere for Lost Boys. Going the way of Alderun. So good luck with that, Short Circuit.
Yeah, that is not the position you want to be in if you are Short Circuit. Mage ADC getting a double kill right off the bat. That is going to be a rough one to have to shut down. I mean, they're just so powerful at any given stage that it's going to be really, really tough to try to find their way back into this one.
That was a really nice portal from Trollacademy as it set up the Scylla to fall low, but oddly enough, Malware on the rotation trying to protect Giants is the one who falls down, and Trollacademy gets the kill. I thought it was going to be a great play onto Giants with the portal predicting the Sentinel, but it turned out that Malware was going to show up just a little too late.
Yeah, Short Circuit not letting up just quite yet. Definitely still very early on. Definitely anybody's game at this point. We still have a lot of Smite to get through.
Yeah, and if last game was any indication on length, then I've got to get myself some coffee for this match. Fuego falling a bit low. We haven't even gotten to talk too much about the role swap here, with Giants heading to the mid lane on Scylla, and FuegoMyEggo taking a bit of a gander over in support, playing Athena, one of my favorite characters in the game. And I gotta be honest, Scylla and Alderun combined with an Athena, that's gonna be tough to play around.
Yeah, we got some very, very beadsable abilities, to say the least. You know, getting Athena taunted, that's something you're going to want to beads, but you're also going to want to beads Alderun. You want to beads Scylla route, because it's going to be followed up by a crush, potentially I'm a monster, not long after. So I think Lost Boys has a really, really solid drop.
Trollacademy in a bad spot. I'm a monster, just barely off the mark. Giannis' movement speed was just enough to get out of the way of the I'm a monster from Giants. That's a tough break for the mid laner on the Lost Boys.
I really love watching good Giannis's, because the way they're able to move, the way they're able to play around walls, position, and get those through time and space ults and just completely change the flow of the game is very, very entertaining. See some aggression over here.
Landfall gonna pull in Koala. Gotta play this safe. There's a Supernova slightly off the mark, and Oswald picks up the kill onto Alderun, despite Supernova being slightly off. Fuego fell pretty low as well, but the big story here is the kill that went to the support. Giants gets caught in mid lane, gonna fall to BurpleNurple after mountains of damage comes steaming down. Wow, that was a lot of damage really early on.
Yeah, 1 second, this guy's just chilling, taking some mid heartbeats. The next he is 1 HP. And this just goes to show the power of these bluestone junglers. Obviously, Yanu's very, very helpful in that situation as well. But it's just like, goes to show how careful you really need to be if you're a squishy. These cheeky junglers lurking around any corner, like we see just here. You need some good wardage to prevent such a instance from occurring.
Yeah, I mean, not to pat myself on the back, but I said it best last season when I said Ooga Booga. When it comes to the junglers, and this season it's just worse with it. They can pop around any corner at any given time. Granted, the mobility is slightly less into this game, but it's still dangerous. BurpleNurple gets caught out by where the speed buff used to be. Through space and time comes out to try to help, but it was off the mark. But he finds the portal anyway from Trollacadimy with fantastic awareness to get BurpleNurple out of there. And Fuego and Malware got to look to retreat after they could not secure the kill onto the short circuit jungler.
Yeah, and again, I'm gonna talk about this Yanu so much. This is where we really see. Here. Oh.
One hit does it, and one hit finds it. Koala's got another kill. 3-1 for the Olaron. Fantastic work to be a mage ADC and get 3 kills. The build's gonna come online quick. The damage is gonna be fun to watch. I hate it for short circuit. I love it for our viewing pleasure.
Game's so insane. I can't even finish my sentence.
These guys don't like each other, or they love each other.
I think they just like to have fun in the game of Smite.
And this set's going to shoot their draft stocks up astronomically, if they weren't already.
Yeah, I think just about anybody is being looked at with a keen eye by these captains to see Landfall come out. Not quite.
And it got the shield buff, not the poor lobster. Oswald gonna look for Fuego next, but it wasn't there. That was one of the first landfalls we've seen miss, and it's still almost hit. Solo lane falling low, quick. Gank from BurpleNurple secures the kill onto Bensworthy. Tough to be a Mulan right now as well.
You know, that shield buff kind of just looks like a big crawfish. Do you think it would taste good boiled with some Old Bay seasoning?
Yeah, I really like when they're like freshly caught, and then you see it there. Blink, blink. Purple safe. Through space and time! Oh my god! Just barely off the mark. I thought for sure that MalwareCookies was going to be asking to not see this game, but it goes slightly wide left. That was so close. giantsdms get slammed down upon, and Trollacadimy, unstable vortex through the wall. Gonna look for the speed to catch up, but just not enough mana to fully chase down the kill. Let's take a look at dual lane just in time for a solo kill. Chris finds it on Koala. These guys won't stop fighting.
Yeah, it's hard to keep up with, but that is a incredible shutdown kill by Crisp. Exactly what you want to see. Shutting down that Olaron, getting a nice gold boost for your soul. So now, really, Crisp shifting the overall flow of that dual lane, making it much closer. So I'm now short circuit, definitely feeling very good all across the map.
The team fight ability from these guys is otherworldly when you consider the fact that they're not on these teams. These are randomized teams, but not randomized teamwork. Oswald almost able to help secure the kill onto MalwareCookies, but he's away now. The portal gonna send poor Fuego on a ride that ends with a landfall and a basic attack, leading to the death of the Athena. Just nowhere to go there. Nothing that could have been done to survive that.
Yeah, see that sort of aggression getting punished. Speaking of aggression, BurpleNurple with the beautiful Mystic Rush finds MalwareCookies, who's not able to find any escape.
Casting this game is if, like, you put a roll of Adderall in a Smarties container. It's just non-stop, constant action across the entire length of the map. We don't even get a second to think, and they just don't stop fighting, and somehow, through all of it, they stay even. Burple considered a tower dive there, but gonna have to rely on the overhead kick to be safe, but I wouldn't put it past it. We saw it a dozen times, it feels like, on the Sasano in game number 1.
Yeah, no kidding. He's definitely not shy of any form of aggression. As you see, Defender of Olympus absolutely securing that totem. There's no chance the theopticblaster is going to step up to that one.
I think he was just dropping by and saying how's the wife, how's the kids, before moving on to the mid lane. I might run into a Giannis on the mid camps. But Scylla is around the corner. Got to be careful here if your Trollacademy has to use through space and time to get out of there. But the taunt pulls him through before the first portal. That means second portal's waiting for Giants! Just not in time! So close to perfection, but not close enough for the kill. Now Malware has to use the ultimate to get out of there away from Burple, and Oswald to play it safe by the Gold Fury and does not get picked up. But close call for the Pele.
Yeah, I don't know if you picked that one up, but there was a bit of a miscommunication on the Lost Boys. We saw, hold that thought, Mystic Rush catches out Malware. He's got no escape. He is dead in the same spot he died last time. He's not safe in his own jungle.
Trollacademy is not the safest right now either if he were to get caught out, but I think he's going to be safe as Fuego and Scylla did not sniff out the Giannis away in plenty of time. The only person on the map in any danger right now appears to be the Mulan, but healing up quickly too. I mean, the fighting's been constant. At some point, I have to wonder, what are these objective fights going to be like, and when are they going to start?
Right now, as you mention it, so we see Short Circuit pulling the Gold Fury. Doesn't look like any members of the Lost Boys are sniffing it out. No one's going to step up. This looks like a free Gold Fury for Short Circuit.
Yeah, it's completely free. No golden retrievers to be found on the side of Lost Boys. What is there to be found is this chart. Now take me through the chart, Mr. Cosmic.
Seeing about a 3,000 gold lead by Short Circuit. That is a comfortable gold lead, definitely accelerated by the Gold Fury, and we see them with a comfortable kill lead as well as a pretty significant about 5,000, just under XP difference. Short Circuit very, very happy now. Now all they have to do is just keep up this sort of pressure, and I'm sure that they'll have no problem with it, as it hasn't stopped since minute 2 practically, and just keep that momentum rolling, turn that into other objectives. We'll see the Pyro spawning in a bit of time. It takes a Pyro to spawn a long time to spawn nowadays, but yeah, definitely looking good for Short Circuit.
But what's scary, to go off your point, Short Circuit learned last game that Lost Boys might be the most difficult team to siege since NRG in 2016. You cannot go into their Titan room unless you know you have every micro number of damage for the Titan. Blinking from MalwareCookies, Volcanic Lightning soon to follow for sure, but Oron Ultimate comes out in the meantime to slow things down. I'm a monster over the wall, finds Chris, great kill for the forward caster, picking up a big one on the Scylla. Off the mark on Oswald, but the chase will ensue, led by MalwareCookies, but the portal comes through just in time to save Oswald. But Malware still chasing it down, and there's Volcanic Lightning, but it was under the tower, and Trollacademy gets to live and portals away. Oswald Tarzan's his way to the Tier 1 tower, and Short Circuit only loses a member.
Yeah, definitely great play by Giant, able to pick it up. I'm sure Lost Boys aren't the most unhappy. A 1-for-1 trade when you're losing is definitely beneficial, I would have to say. Just let's Lost Boys dig in their heels a little bit, try to stop Short Circuit, and as you were saying, that is something they're very, very good at as far as defending, preventing sieges. And Short Circuit still have their work cut out for them despite the lead that they've been able to maintain.
And that's going to be the storyline of this game. It's going to be climbing up the mountain for both sides. Okay, Giants casually drop in what looks like it was 900 damage on Trollacademy at 13 minutes. Scylla is not a character to be messed with right now. With those Book of Thoth stacks already online, Giannis chose to go tablet into book. Looked for a second we had a pause, but I think BurpleNurple was just deep in thought and hanging out looking for some plays to be made over at the Gold Fury. Giants pulled in with the hook and the blink, and a millionth this leads to a kill for BurpleNurple on the Giants.
Yeah, and get the beads. He beats a little bit late. Didn't expect the blinking from BurpleNurple. And that just really goes to show the power that Maui has with this one. Like, it doesn't necessarily get you out of position by itself. It can't pull you that far, but preventing that dash with the cripple is what really is so powerful about it. I mean, Scylla, her key safety feature is obviously her 3 being able to just dash over walls and anything, but if you can't cast it, you are in for a world of hurt, as we saw on display in 4K.
Yeah, the easiest way to stop Scylla is to eliminate the Sentinel. You are exactly correct. And the easiest way to escape as Giannis, go through your portal. Hardest way to survive as a Giannis, get caught by volcanic lightning from MalwareCookies. Picks up the kill on the Trollacadimy. Tier 1 tower did fall in duo lane thanks to a enormous amount of pressure we didn't even get to talk about, as Burple was just kind of hanging out by the purple buff, which you hate as an ADC, but how can you fix it, you ask? A rotation. Both ADCs are hanging out by green buff. Mid lane, hands being thrown, Optic Blaster falling low. I'm a monster, but the shield's out. I'm a monster just off the mark. Bensworthy going to look for the aggression on to Optic Blaster, who gets away with the jump. Underneath the tower, BurpleNurple dives into Koala, and despite the slow, picks it up. Giants was able to find that kill with the help of Bensworthy. The chase finally paid off, and now they can turn their attention back to the green buff fight. FuegoMyEggo falling low. Big 3-man root. Double kill for BurpleNurple despite the fantastic Sikkim. Bensworthy shuts down BurpleNurple. MalwareCookies gets a double kill. And Lost Boys cleans the house. Lost no more. Fantastic fight. I can't get enough of watching these guys.
No kidding. Trollacademy. His portal was down. This looks like it's going to be rough unless he can ult out, which he doesn't have.
And you can't outspeed MalwareCookies unless you got the portal. There it is. That does secure the Primal Fury for the Lost Boys. And gold lead is slowly coming back even.
Yeah, that was an interesting fight because Lost Boys were very, very spread out. Seemed like they were really focused on Optic Blaster, who's now focused on the MalwareCookies. Man, I can't even do my job because it doesn't stop. As I was saying, they were so focused on Optic Blaster in mid lane that they weren't. It was a very, very separated fight. They were able to drop the Short Circuit was able to drop the duo lane of the Lost Boys, but by then they were done in the middle lane. They came over some low health bars, some big mage damage, and Pele just all over them, finished them off, and that was a very, very fortunate for the Lost Boys, which at first didn't seem like it was doing too much.
Short Circuit pulling the Pyromancer down to 10%. Short Circuit secures the Pyromancer despite the best efforts of FuegoMyEggo and Bensworthy. But there was a kill picked up onto BurpleNurple from the Athena, who dashes in aggressive and is taking a lot of damage. But if you've seen anything from these mitigations in Season 10, then you know that Fuego is plenty safe.
Yeah, I mean, tanks are just so strong right now, but damage dealers are just as strong. So it's really like if everybody is broken, then who really is?
True.
The power that mages can put out as far as any sort of build that they decide to go, if it's they go the Tablet of Destinies as we see Janos, or just the Book of Thoth that we see Scylla, and of course, I feel like we've spoken enough about the power of mage ADCs that can absolutely pump out numbers. So, yeah, I mean, that's Season 10, I guess.
So around this same time, maybe slightly earlier, I asked Power what he wanted to see from the Lost Boys to stay in the game. This time I'm going to ask you the same thing, despite the game being slightly close. What do you want to see from Lost Boys? How can they take this victory?
I mean, I think they really need to utilize their rotation potential as far as Fuego with Defender of Olympus, and just how you can zip and zoom around as Pele. I think solo lane has been a little bit ignored. At this point, it's definitely going to be a bit hard to gank a Nike, so it might be too little too late. But overall, I think Lost Boys are leaving a little bit to be wanted as far as their overall map play. That being said, as you had said, it's still like it's not that lost for Lost Boys, so to speak. They're definitely still in this game, and I think grouping around objectives and just sort of just playing some Smite, they still have a decent chance of winning this.
I think you've definitely said it best, and it's what to watch for as we go forward. I mean, granted, Short Circuit is definitely full of talented players. The talent is not shy for anyone in this game. Powell pointed that in game number 1 with me as well, that the mechanics are really some of the best we've seen. And like I said, around the Fire Giant game number 1, this is the lowest division that we have in SDL, and they're competing as if they're ready to go try to make their way into the SPL tomorrow. So there's really no limitation on what to expect from these guys on any given game day.
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know which division it was, and I would not have guessed that this is the lowest division. We've seen insane mechanical plays, we have seen great teamwork, and we've just seen very, very aggressive playstyles that you don't really expect to see in the lower divisions.
We've had a decent lapse in action, which is shocking considering these teams, but it looks like it might be close to coming to an end as everybody's hanging out in the mid lane minus the ADCs, and even that might change here soon. Giants just looking for some poke with Crush, but FuegoMyEggo is stuck a bit deep and falling lower and lower. Bensworthy going to try to get the Athena out of there. Around the back could be MalwareCookies soon, currently stopped at the green buff, but it might not be much longer there. I'm a Monster going to look for Optic Blaster, does not hit home. Wouldn't have mattered anyway with the shield from Nike. Landfall pulls in Giants. Sentinel in response, but Sentinel brings in a BurpleNurple, which brings into a Sikkim, which does massive damage, but BurpleNurple still alive. MalwareCookies goes in the back with Volcanic Lightning and finds a kill. Now we got Malware and Bensworthy underneath the tier 1 tower, looking for a kill on Optic Blaster, Crisp, anyone they can find. The only person who's left is Trollacadimy. Gonna go back to base and look to use potentially anything to get back in time. Tier 1 tower falls, but 3 members still standing, and Trollacademy on the way. What a response from Short Circuit to manage to stay alive there.
Yeah, that's true, but I mean, I'm surprised Malware was able to get out alive. Speaking of which, gets out by the skin of his teeth on that back. We've seen a few of those, these scouting grounds, but I still think this is a massive win for Lost Boys. Big mental W for sure, and just overall, it goes to show that even despite being down a little bit, actually they're up now following that Gold Fury drop in gold. They're still able to really bring these team fights, even with some of their ults not being as useful as they have the potential to be. I think it just goes to show the power of Lost Boys and how well they've been drafting and just overall how well they've been playing.
The only way I see this set ending is if somebody makes a mistake. Because game 1, we almost saw that mistake happen. Lost Boys was defending perfectly, and Short Circuit was dying in droves in the Titan room. And Lost Boys was maybe one Phoenix being alive from staying in the game and potentially being able to run it down. So far this game, the difference is so minuscule, it's barely worth talking about. So I ultimately don't really know what you're looking for as either team to win. I mean, you're playing to the best of your ability and you're being matched completely. So you got to look for a mistake, but will that mistake come? Optic Blaster taking a lot of damage, but if you've seen a Nike shield in the last month or so, you know Nike's going nowhere. Through space and time is there just in case. There was no need to save it for the moment unless Fire Giant were to be pulled.
Yeah, I think Athena is going to be key into killing that Nike whenever their ult is up, with that Stunner going to spell trouble for Nike as we see Olaron ult committing to the Fire Giant. And Fuego, where did his health go? Where did he come from?
Where did the Fire Giant go with the secure
Good
from
question.
Giants getting rid of it, and they sneak a Fire Giant at 22 minutes. Wow.
Yeah, kind of the mistake you were talking about. Short Circuit all on the left side with no objectives up. Lost Boys are very well aware of this. That being said, Short Circuit taking the opportunity after they back to drop down that tier 2. Not exactly what you expect to see after the opposite team just dropped the Fire Giant.
Optic Blaster pushes Bensworthy back under the tower, and we see everybody kind of taking a moment to breathe and reset before the next engagement. Currently, no objectives up with the exception of structures. Bensworthy caught out in the right lane, though, and everybody's on the way. 10,000 fists for the chase. Tier 1 tower is going to drop like cake with the ADC there as well. But Bensworthy gets away. We've got a left lane push versus a right lane push here at 23 minutes.
Yeah, and we see Tier 1 tower not up on the right side. They're going to immediately push into the Tier 2. That being said, we see a bit of a split pushing between mid and the left side. Mid Tier 2 dropping.
They're starting to... They're canceling the back. It looks like Short Circuit might go for a Phoenix, and they're going to kill Bensworthy here, and Lost Boys are at the Phoenix. Short Circuit might look to push this as far as they can. They've got a minion wave with them. On the other side, they're at the Phoenix, and they've also got a minion wave. This Phoenix is down to half. Ultimate comes out. They're going to look to kill Optic Blaster. I'm a Monster hits the shield. Optic Blaster gets away. They're on the Titan. Short Circuit's on the Titan. Titan's on 75% health. Titan killed Oswald. Short Circuit's trying to take out one Titan, Lost Boys on the other. We've got a base race. Koala down to 25. Also low, Chaos Titan killed one. Fuego killed Purple. Their Titans at half. Both Titans at half. Short Circuit's off the Titan on Order side. Lost Boys has to let the Titan go on Chaos side. Koala's down to 20 HP. Optic Blaster killed Giants, and they all have to walk away. 2 failed base races. What do these two teams have in the morning? Everyone's dead on the side of Lost Boys. It's a deicide. Short Circuit and Lost Boys. 2 Titans, both alive, both throwing hands.
What am I watching? That was a 24-minute base race for no reason. Neither team needed to do that. Lost Boys could have just backed and defended, killed them with their Fire Giant buff. Instead, they just say, screw it, go for the throne. Some of them decide to back and just end up dying. Neither team could have finished the Titan. I don't know what I'm looking at.
I think you said it best when you said, I cannot for the life of me fathom why that turned into a base race. And I don't think I've ever seen a base race that ended in both teams getting wiped by the Titan.
Titan double pentakill, practically.
That was surreal. Pyromancer getting pulled by Short Circuit. I imagine that their team comms are much like me, shaking, trying to catch their breath. I'm in absolute shock that the game is still on. Both Titans were at half health. I don't know what else to say. I got nothing.
I think it speaks for itself, to say the least. I mean, 24-minute base race, possibly one of the earliest base races I've definitely ever heard of in competitive Smite. Usually you see that happening at the 30, 40, or more minute mark. Screw it. 24 minutes
what's
in.
crazy is both Lost Boys and Short Circuit went with just one Phoenix down, and they both had towers to contend with. The Titans were borderline as healthy as you can be. Their mitigations were nearly full, but they just didn't care. Now we see Short Circuit finding the Fire Giant without anyone defending it, but they're a bit split. 2 members are on the left side of the map, and Lost Boys are sprinting there, probably sensed out that there was nobody in the lanes, and we're going to have a Fire Giant dance, and my tuxedo is covered in spit. What am I supposed to do? Bensworthy in the back looking to get some peel on Crisp and Trollacadimy. Optic Blaster looking to do the same thing on the Giants. Bensworthy, though, now a bit caught out. Up down for Oswald, going to cut off Bensworthy. And they've got the solo laner down to half before the fight even begins. Now Optic Blaster is very deep, has to expend that ultimate to stay alive. Shield comes out and does work through space and time, just off the mark on Bensworthy. Unstable Vortex does a lot, though. Landfall brings in Fuego. I'm a monster! Off the mark, just barely from Giants. Now Fuego falling low. BurpleNurple cleans up the kill onto Athena. Now Short Circuit going to look to push out Lost Boys, and Lost Boys got to play it safe because they know Short Circuit's not afraid to end. But take a look at something! Fire minions are about to pour into Titan Room on Short Circuit, and their Titan's down to half health. BurpleNurple has a double kill, and Short Circuit now has to make the decision. Do we push for the end, or do we back? Fire minions are on the Titan. Short Circuit's pushing through. They're looking at the throne room. Now we've got a minion v 5v5 base race. It doesn't stop. Their Titan's low. Short Circuit's in the room. MalwareCookies doing everything possible. Gets 1 kill. Bensworthy's got the other. Titan's down 10. The other one's half. After all that, Short Circuit runs it down and takes the set after one of the most incredible sets I've seen in the Smite Draft League in its only scouting grounds. What a damn match!
If this is any representation of what Season 2 is going to be, this will be the most insane season of competitive Smite that we will ever see. I mean, I don't even know what to say. What is there to say? We saw a 24-minute base race. We saw minions pouring into the Titan room, and they just said, screw it, we're going to go faster than the minions. We saw a team with Fire Giant buff just getting wiped.
And MalwareCookies almost saved it. MalwareCookies almost killed everybody with the help of Bensworthy. We could have had a game continue, and Fire minions were pouring in. MalwareCookies could have won the game. You know, we talked about everybody in game number 1. We gave individual performances. We gave so many during the game. I don't know what else there is to say.
other than these guys should all be within the first 2 rounds without a doubt. Everyone brought something to the table, and whoever was calling the shots needs to own up to it ASAP in their team chats. And I hate to end it here, but what else do we have to say? One of the most incredible sets we've ever seen here in the Smite Draft League. I've been Anthony Malum. Thank you to POWAAAAHHHH, Cosmic Warrior, KingFsher, and iNooblet for joining me on the cast today. And I cannot wait for you to see this cast and the rest of Season 2, which will be to you soon. We'll see you next time on the Smite Draft League.